How's it going? I'm watching episode 34, guys. You see, Vicky's at the Blue Whale here. There's Burke. There's Mitchell Ryan. You could tell that Vicky was talking during the open monologue. You saw Alexander's lips move. And there's Mitchell. So Vicky asked at the hotel where Burke was, and he left word that he would be here. He would be at the Blue Whale. Vicky changed her mind about meeting him. He did invite her for dinner. She initially turned him down. She's giving him the backstory about her coming from New York and all the way to Maine to find out who she was. Because I'm going to ask a lot of you. Actually, not really. I will say that. He only tells her to leave. He only ever tells her to leave because he doesn't want her to get hurt. Vicky. Bert tells Victoria that the distance to Collinwood, from Collinwood to the Blue Whale, is farther than she thinks. Um, Burke's been trying to buy Joe off. He does not try to buy Victoria because I think Burke realizes this is not a woman who's for sale. He does want her to leave, though. And I do like that aspect that Burke isn't this complete heartless bastard that some of us might paint him out to be. He can be brutal, though. He can be brutal. Romp them asleep. He would still be really brutal. Um, this episode's written by Art Wallace, by the way, narrated by Alexander Isles, directed by Leela Swift. Leela Swift directs the final two episodes of season one, so episode 34 and episode 35. Um, let's continue the fun, shall we? Watch. I'm gonna watch the episode, and they're bringing some liquor. It's not really liquor. It's not really liquor. I like how he's got a beer mug and she's got a sherry glass. She's got a wine glass. She's drinking sherry. He's drinking sherry. He's drinking beer. I wonder what he's got in his cup. I don't think tea foams that way. It could just be they just could have made it foam, I guess. I've never seen tea foam like that. It does foam when you get it. He's talking about lobsters, and she wants information. She's oh man, private detective. So Burke is telling her, "Well, you did turn me down for dinner. Um, let's settle for first things first." But Vicky's insisting on going up to Burke Devlin's room because she wants to look at the file, and he's like, all right. I love the sexual tension you get between Vicky and Burke here. You could cut it with a spoon. Back at Collinwood, Joe is Joe is coming to off his drunken stupor. He's asking what he said. Carolyn tells him he made an enemy. Her. Like I do. I'll jump. Yeah, he's like, where am? He's like, how did I get here? And she's like, I thought you were gonna pull that. Where am I, bitch? uh, Joe's been drunk. Joe's been there an hour and a half at Collinwood. Up at Collinwood, an hour and a half. Can you imagine? Carolyn's gonna go get him some coffee. I couldn't get up if I tried. He's asked if he did too foolish. She told him she made an enemy. Her. Yeah. I remember that correctly. Carolyn's a little mad at him. Like, how can you be mad at this guy? She's she's telling what he said about how he told her mother she ruined her life. You were drunk. That's true. He's he's apologized. And then she's like, "Yo, we all have to bill off Steve." He's telling her now about his partner. He's gonna have a kid. He backed out on the deal of the boat. He's like, I went straight to the bar after he heard the news. He ran into Burke. He's telling her he ran into Burke. He told Burke off. By the way, in this episode, if I remember correctly, Joe does go up to Burke's room and pay him back for putting his drinks on his tab. If I remember correctly, Burke's room is lit very interestingly. A lot of it's really dark because there's no lights on, but you get a small little bit of a light in the center of the room. Now that the lights are turned on, it's all bright now. He's like, your friends call you Vicky. She's like, I came up here to read your report. Yeah, she did. She asked and pointed out why'd you have the report made on me. That's a good point. He never heard of her till she came there. Anybody who works for the Collins family is Burke's business. That's how he feels about it, honestly. I like the point she made. How can you hide anything you know nothing about? She's telling him she wants those answers more than he does, which is true. It's all true. It's all true. Uh, I do know that before Joe leaves Collinwood, he remembers that he forgot to pay the tab. Uh, him and Carolyn embracing a kiss. So, with Carolyn kissing him, is she playing games? I think she's just trying to. Though she said what he said wasn't true, in some ways it is. In some ways, what Joe said was true. He just doesn't. He just doesn't realize the reason why she doesn't leave, and I don't think anybody does really. Not even Vicky. And I like when we go back to Burke's room. We get a lot of because Joe does. He just leaves Collinwood, and I love the it's not tension. Is it more sexual tension? A bit, but I do love the conversation they're having about Vicky, about her, her trying to find herself, and that's why she's here. And he says, well, "What if I asked you to leave?" She goes, "I'm not leaving until I find out who I am." And she's not even sure she will find it out. I mean, that's just who Victoria Winters is. She wants to find out about who she is, who her parents are, why they abandoned her. Those are all things. Um, Vicky's hell or high water. She wants to find out. Burke orders some steaks, and eventually he tells he tells he tells Vicky that if she wants to wash up the kitchen, the bathroom's in there. She does. He answers the door. It's not his steaks. It's Joe. He's like, "You don't look like a steak." Like his line. It's just funny. Mitchell Ryan knows how to be funny. Joe comes and does give him the money. He's paying him back for paying his tab. He goes, "I don't want to be indebted to you." And he sees Miss Victoria Winters. And Vicky decides to leave after that. And he's like, "What am I going to do with two steaks?" She goes, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "It's all right." So he said, and, she's going to leave to go back up to Collinwood. I do really love what they do with this episode here, because this episode to lead to the season 1 finale is going to be very tumultuous. You're going to have some confrontations in the next episode. This is just a setup episode, and you'll have those even though they've already did up certain setup things. They're setting up more things. They're setting up a potential feud between Carolyn and Vicky. They're, but is it really a feud when Vicky doesn't really try to like fist fight with her? That would have been interesting if we would have had a fight between Carolyn and Vicky, like a literal physical fight. That'd have been interesting. I'd have paid money to see that. Maybe that's just me. My favorite scene in this episode, how they did Joe's drunk vision. Carolyn's really blurry. Looked legit. It was really well done. Um, Great job. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 34, my review of episode 34.